After 6 years of marriage, my wife suggested we open our relationship. In response, I initiated divorce proceedings and cut off her access to my $12,000 monthly earnings. I'm 37, a logistics officer in the Marine Corps, and have been married to Sharon, 39, for 6 years, though we've known each other for a decade. My career in the Marines requires me to be deployed for 6 to 7 months annually, but the job pays well, around $120,000 with benefits and hazard pay, ensuring a comfortable lifestyle. We met in 2014 at a barbecue through mutual friends. I was already serving, while Sharon, an elementary school teacher earning about $45,000 yearly, stood out from other women I'd dated. Her father's 25-year military career gave her insight into the demands of service life, and she seemed independent, career-driven, and uninterested in the perks some associate with military spouses. We dated for 4 years before tying the knot in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by loved ones. Her father, a retired veteran, was thrilled to welcome another service member into the family. The early years were blissful. Sharon supported my career, took pride in my service, and we cherished our time together during my leaves. While I was deployed, she stayed occupied with teaching, her book club, and socializing with other military wives who understood her circumstances. We maintained a routine with weekly video calls, care packages, and occasional visits when I was in port provided for her generously, purchasing a 4-bedroom home in a desirable neighborhood near her school, upgrading her car periodically, and ensuring she lacked for nothing. She always seemed to view my deployments as a worthwhile sacrifice and embraced her role as a military spouse. We talked about starting a family but agreed to wait until I could secure a desk job, as she didn't want to parent alone for half the year. Everything felt perfect until things took a turn. Sharon started spending more time with a new group of friends from her yoga class, mostly single or divorced women from her school. She began sharing photos of their nights out at trendy restaurants and clubs, places we used to visit together. I didn't think much of it, assuming she was keeping herself busy. She also became more focused on her appearance, buying expensive clothes, getting frequent salon treatments, and joining a gym with a personal trainer. I thought she was simply treating herself with our income. In hindsight, these were warning signs. During a routine video call, Sharon casually suggested we open our marriage. I thought she was joking, but her serious expression told me otherwise. When I asked what prompted this, she said she'd been reflecting on it for a while and believed it was best for us. She claimed no woman could suppress her desires for 6 months and was tired of coping with my absences. She described living like a single woman most of the time and craving connection. Her words reduced our marriage to mere physical needs, which gutted me. After a decade together, 6 as husband and wife, this blindsided me. I tried to stay calm, reminding her that my deployments were part of the life we chose together. We discussed transitioning to a desk job, but opportunities were scarce, and I loved my work. Sharon had always seemed supportive, until now. When I tried to reason with her, she grew defensive. I suggested we revisit the conversation later, but she insisted on resolving it immediately. She vented about feeling isolated, spending holidays alone, and attending appointments by herself. Tears streamed down her face as she poured out her frustrations. I understood her pain. I miss important moments too, but this was the life she knowingly entered. When we married, others suggested having a child to keep her occupied during deployments, but Sharon wasn't ready to be a single parent half the year, and I respected that. Now, I wondered if that choice deepened her loneliness. Still, an open marriage? That crossed a line. I asked if she was ending things. She replied, "No, I love you.
He could never leave you. He want to grow old with you.
But I'm nearing 40, and menopause is around the corner. I don't want to waste my prime years waiting." She'd never spoken so openly about her physical desires before. Our intimacy was strong when I was home, supplemented by toys and virtual connections during deployments. She'd never hinted it wasn't enough. It became clear she wasn't seeking my approval, she was informing me of her decision. Terrified of her answer, I asked what she wanted. Staring at me through the screen, she said, "I want to open our marriage and see other men. I have needs, and they need to be met, whether you agree or not." The woman who vowed fidelity was now declaring her intent to sleep with others, leaving me powerless. I asked if she expected me to share her while remaining married. When she nodded, I pressed how this would address her loneliness. Would these men celebrate her milestones or care for her when sick? She admitted she wasn't sure if it would be purely physical or involve dating, but insisted she only loved me. They'd just be temporary stand-ins, and when I returned, she'd be mine alone.
Ifide accept sharing my wife half the year.
I asked how long this would continue, a few years or indefinitely. She hadn't decided. When I asked if she'd already cheated, she snapped, "If I wanted to cheat, I wouldn't be telling you." She believed her honesty about wanting other men was better than deceit. I asked if I had any say. She said her mind was made up, she'd lose her sanity otherwise. My head was spinning. I told her I needed time to think. She hung up abruptly. What made this worse? I'd only been gone 3 weeks after a 3-month leave. During that time, we'd taken a second honeymoon in Hawaii, renovated the house as she wanted, and even discussed trying for a baby the following year. She was affectionate, planning our future together. The day I deployed, she was emotional, already organizing my next leave. We were saving for a child, and I was exploring local base assignments to be home more. That's how committed we were. When I asked why she didn't bring this up in person, she said she didn't feel the need for others when I was around. Then it hit me, she'd mentioned a new personal trainer at her gym who was motivating and giving her extra attention. I hadn't thought much of it, but the timing felt suspicious. It seemed planned, possibly sparked by someone new from her gym or single friends. My buddy Mike faced a similar situation last year. His wife proposed an open marriage during his deployment, only for him to discover she was already seeing someone. They're divorced now. I pressed Sharon again, asking if she truly thought through what this meant for our future. She said yes without hesitation, as if our recent plans meant nothing. To understand her reasoning, I pushed for details, not because I was open to it, but to expose her flawed logic. I asked about boundaries. Could I see other women? How would we handle finances? Her answers revealed her selfishness. She hadn't thought it through. She just wanted someone to meet her needs while I was away, but when I returned, it would be just us. She suggested I could explore on port days, but not at home since she'd be there. Her plan was to see how it goes, and maybe close the marriage when she was done exploring. I'd heard enough. This isn't what I signed up for, I said. I wanted monogamy. Since you've decided, I won't stop you, but there will be consequences. She asked what I meant. Calmly, I laid it out. First, she'd cover her own expenses. No more access to our joint account. Second, we'd cut all contact. I didn't want calls or texts while she was busy. Third, I might see other women, with no restrictions from her. She laughed, assuming I'd come around, saying she was excited and it would be fun. She even teased, "I know you won't go too far. How could you leave someone like me?" and started undressing on the call. I shut it down. My terms start now. Enjoy. Then I hung up. That was it. I was done. She tried reaching out, but I ignored her. She posted photos of obvious date nights and trips, hot tub selfies with rose petals and 2 wine glasses. It was clear what was happening. Her sister texted, asking if I knew what Sharon was up to. I replied bluntly, "Sharon opened the marriage without my consent because she's lonely." Sharon bombarded my phone after that, but I didn't care. My next shore leave starts next week. My brother's already found me an apartment. I told him and my parents everything. I've hired a lawyer to prepare my case, moving carefully to ensure she regrets her choices. I'll update during or after my leave. Thanks for reading. Update 1. I need to address something first. Everyone seems to pity military spouses. Poor thing, living alone while married, or what about her needs? They look at me like I'm the bad guy for not empathizing. Yes, it's tough, but no one forced her to marry me. She lives in a 4-bedroom house with a pool, far beyond her teacher's salary. She drives a new BMW I gifted her last Christmas, carries designer bags, and wears a luxury watch worth more than her monthly pay. We vacation in Europe or the Caribbean yearly. She gets her hair done at high-end salons, attends yoga retreats, and never worries about bills. Yet no one mentions these privileges when sympathizing with her. She lived like royalty on my income and still complained about loneliness. Let's be clear, staying faithful isn't easy for us either. We travel globally, stop at ports with endless temptations, and meet women who don't care about our marital status. My buddies joke I could have a girlfriend in every country, but I've stayed loyal because that's what marriage means to me. Some of with accomplished women, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, far outranking her professionally. When asked about Sharon, I was honest. She wanted an open marriage to sleep around while I'm deployed. Word spread fast in our circle, and the military wives who once fawned over her began cutting ties. Sharon texted initially, asking where I was and why I wasn't home, then shifted to "I'll give you space, I'll wait." But when she saw my gala photos, she lost it, accusing me of abandoning her and questioning if we hadn't agreed to be normal when I returned. At 2 a.m., she sent messages about missing our life and how other men meant nothing. I didn't respond. Months later, I finally said, "I never agreed to this. You made your choice, now I'm making mine." She replied with nonsense about waiting for me to finish acting out, as if I were the one throwing a tantrum. She even suggested we discuss terms for our open marriage, like we could negotiate her infidelity over coffee.
I shut it down. Do what you want.
I'm done with this game. My lawyer advised documenting her messages for the divorce. Later she emailed, begging to go back to normal, claiming her flings didn't compare to me and she'd do anything to save our marriage. I replied, "Ha," and moved on. My mom, who hasn't spoken to Sharon since this began, summed it up: "She didn't expect you to choose your self-respect over her." One day, Sharon showed up at my apartment. I don't know who leaked my address. I only shared it with close family and friends. She looked different, thinner blonde hair, wearing a revealing outfit unlike her usual style. Nervously, she asked why I wasn't at our house. I told her I wouldn't live with someone who disrespected our vows. She insisted we could work this out, like it was a minor disagreement. I said, "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." She cried, complaining that our social circle had shunned her. Her former friends, wives who shopped and partied with her, wanted nothing. Nothing to do with her. The elite events she loved?
No more invitations.
Being known as the spouse who opened her marriage during deployment tanked her reputation.
What do you want? She sobbed.
I replied, "You'll see soon enough." Panicked, she asked if I'd met someone else, accusing me of loving another woman. The irony was rich. She wanted to see others but couldn't handle the thought of me moving on. She begged for answers, but I'd had enough. "Get out," I said. She left, claiming I'd regret betraying her trust. My lawyer had already prepared divorce papers, set to be served when I returned to see to avoid another tearful visit. She wanted to open the marriage? I was about to end it. Sharon was served the day I deployed. She called in a rage, accusing me of betraying and breaking her, playing the victim. She told my lawyer she'd fight the divorce to the end, as if she could stop it. She tried manipulating my parents, claiming we'd mutually agreed to an open marriage. They knew the truth and blocked her. Her mother called, saying Sharon had convinced her family it was a joint decision. I corrected her. "I told your other daughter the truth months ago. I never agreed to this." Her mom mentioned Sharon's mental health struggles and social isolation, expecting sympathy. I thought, why would my friends invite her when she's no longer my wife? Her mom asked if we could reconcile. I laughed. No chance. I won't stay married to someone who's been with others for a year. Who knows what she's picked up? It was harsh, but I needed them to understand. Her mom said Sharon wasn't ready for divorce. I replied, "The longer she fights, the worse it'll be. I'm moving on, whether she likes it or not." Sharon keeps texting and leaving voicemails, begging for forgiveness and promising to change. I haven't blocked her yet. Maybe it's petty, but I want her to see what she lost. I'll block her soon, but for now, I'm letting her feel the pain she caused me. Update 2. I'm on shore leave again. The divorce is progressing, though Sharon's fighting it, not to reconcile, but because her fantasy of freedom has collapsed. She's broke. The men she dated wanted a fling with a married woman, not a commitment. They vanished when her money ran out. In court she sobbed, admitting the open marriage was a mistake and wishing she could undo the past year. After I cut her off from our account, she burned through her savings trying to maintain her lavish lifestyle. Her teacher's salary barely covers rent, let alone her designer clothes. Living large is addictive. Once you're used to it, there's no going back. She thought I'd eventually fund her again, planning to play the loyal wife during my leaves and live freely while I was gone. Her plan backfired. In court, she begs to start over, but she wasn't the one humiliated. She timed her open marriage pitch just before my deployment, giving herself 6 months to act freely. Those months at sea were brutal, surrounded by water, no distractions, just dark thoughts about home. I barely held it together. The divorce is nearly finalized, with one last court date. The asset split is fair, and I'm selling the house. I can't stay where she destroyed our marriage. She can't afford to buy me out, which suits me fine. I don't want ties to that life. I'm thriving now, meeting new people, building a routine, and feeling free. I'm not bitter. I'm grateful I didn't let her choices ruin me. I'm not dating but open to possibilities. Sharon keeps making new social media accounts to stalk me. I see them but let her look, so she knows what she threw away. Her posts, once full of glamour, now dwell on regret and second chances. That's what happens when you ruin something good. Thanks for reading. If you enjoyed this, please follow for more real-life stories.